Also to note, sorry to please join us. Also to note that immediately after this photograph, we will be having more of the exhibition. You'll see in the exhibition. So will be by the speakers, and everybody else will join. We can get this out of the way. Thank you very much. Will you please join us?
Else paying for somebody else's purchase, essentially, thanks to this, because the lady moved too fast, the photo of the other guy was taken, so there was a biometric authentication that made the guy pay for somebody else's goods. So these are tricky situations, right? But thank you very much for the opportunity once again for talking to you.
Thank you very much. I'd like to be in front of Aliko Dangote when I'm making a payment. Thank you much, ladies and gentlemen. Please, let's put our hands together for Mr. Anand Gururajan, Head of Market Worldwide, France, visionary presentation. Round of applause. It's been a fantastic audience. You paid attention to our guest speakers. I know I have not had breakfast. We've been on compulsion. And structure will go 30 minutes break. But before that, a couple announcements. I'd like to appeal to our distinguished speakers. MC that present your meal ticket and of consideration. Light refreshments are provided for everyone in the hall. We wrap up the business of the morning session. Session. Mr. Adeyemi Adeyinka.
Please remember that it's a conference and exhibition. The exhibition hall will be officially open after the distinguished speakers and Mr. Adeyinka Adeyemi proceed to the exhibition hall. The rest of us can join. Remember that light refreshment will be served. I know lots of us are going to there, not leave them behind. Please, your phones and personal belongings, please, for remind to the exhibition hall. Thank you.
Hey, start night. You will have is all you need wherever you are. Right now. Nighttime, PSP, you see all day.
over 6 decades, that industry has been here, driving Nigeria's industrial through financial and business support services to micro enterprises, small and medium enterprises, and large enterprises across Nigeria. Leveraging on strategic partnerships, we provide equipment financing, working capital, and support to enterprises in key sectors of Nigeria's economy, including youth and women-led enterprises. Whatever your business needs, starting up, expansion, modernization, or rehabilitation, we'll be here always to support you. Bag of Industry, transforming Nigeria's industrial sector.
All innovators and business leaders, buckle up, because Card Sale Solutions is taking your business to the next level. Yes, we are your plug for everything card-related, from eye-catching designs to support coding. We first to perfectly represent your brand. We offer laser elegance to any card, and you printing technology that creates stunning cards. Got instant visual printers to print out cards in a flash. Our self-service line your operations, allowing you to focus on your customers. At Cuzzo, we're all about
He was a friend of mine, and he could sing his heart in every line. Marvin sang of the joy and pain. He opened up our mind. You can hear him say, "Oh, talk to me. Don't you can't see what's going on?" Sing your song. Gonna be some seasons coming down the night. I bet you see it right. Oh, I bet you will cry. Be alright, be alright. Night shift. You found the number. I know your number. The night shift. You found the number. I know your number. Hey, what you doing now? It seems like yesterday when we were working out. Jackie, oh, you set the world on fire. You came and lit it up. Your love, it lit it up higher and higher. Keep it up, and we'll be there at your side. We will. Gonna be some seasons coming down the night shift. Night shift. You found another home. I know you love the night shift. kiss me with his eyes. Made me cast a shadow like a I never had any reason to thank my lucky stars. Now I've got a pretty good reason for. I know I'm gonna go far. I believe in magic. With all that's happened, be true. I cast a silver shadow from the kiss of the light. I knew that I was destined. Suddenly, I never met nobody like you. Never met nobody like you. Makes me feel like you do. Got me kind of so drawn to you. Ever since I laid out on you, just don't know what to do. They're falling deeper in your love. You got me just where you want. Don't keep me waiting too long. No, I can't feel my feelings. You got me there for love. Nobody could love me the way that you do. Nobody could love me. Nobody could love you too. Nobody could love me. Now you got me just where I want. Putting my back to the wall. Can't you see that you're my peace? If you just let go, no more games of control. Just give in to sweeter. You simply take me higher, more than ever before. I can't believe these feelings when I'm in love. If I give all my love, more. Now I'm trying to love. Nobody could love me the way that you could love me. Nothing in life is free. That's why I'm asking you what you do for me. I've got responsibilities. So I'm looking for a man who's got some money in his bank. Cause I'm nothing. Leave nothing. You got to have something. If you wanna be with me, all night. Serious, love serious.
Good afternoon, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed your lunch. I think I enjoyed mine, my suit fighter. So I must have gained some weight during lunch. We're happy to have you back. I would like to appeal to those of us that were still in the exhibition hall. Please make your way back to the main hall after the session of this program. We'll come in about 2 minutes. Please, ladies and gentlemen, make your way back to the main hall from the exhibition area as we'll commence proceedings for this afternoon session shortly. Thank you. Good afternoon once again, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, to the afternoon session of the 2024 Tournament Expo. I'd like to appeal to those of us in the hall to please make your way to the main hall so proceedings for the afternoon session. Thank you. Please kindly make your way to the hall. We're about to kick off the afternoon session of the Digital Payment Expo. Good afternoon once again, ladies and gentlemen. Please, can we make our way back into the main hall for the afternoon session of the Digital Pay Expo as we're about to commence. Please make your way to the main hall for continuation of this afternoon Digital Payment Expo. Thank you. Good afternoon once again, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the session of the 2024 Digital Show. I said earlier in the morning session, I'm a broadcaster by profession, and in my business, when we take the news and we go on a break, there's always a recap, the headlines, and then we go on to say, coming up on the news. So that now, just give you a recap of what we've done here today. We had welcome address, we had a freedom tree, we had several distinguished personalities on work and life. It's been quite packed session in the morning, and coming up this afternoon for the afternoon session, we're going to have a couple of speakers speak on different subjects, and of course I'm sure a lot of you are looking forward at the Millennial and Gen Z payment for speech, and also have a panel session. And that's why you have these chairs here on the theme, the future of payment. It will feature a very distinguished personality there. A couple of more speeches, and hopefully before 4 p.m. I know we've kept you here for a whole day. We'll be done with business for today. So I'd like to thank you once again for taking time out to attend this year's 2024 Digital Pay Expo. And I hope you enjoyed the launch and the tour of the exhibition. Next year, I will get myself a stand where I can showcase my talent as an MC, and also different platforms on which you can my services, since the payment expo. Okay, you can pay me this way or that way. I'll talk to the organizers to see about that. I guess we're ready to kick off afternoon session. So you're welcome back, everyone. To kick off on this session, we have the Director of Account Management, MasterCard West Africa. She has over 20 years of educations, customer experience, business development, financial inclusion, and relationship. She will speak on the subject, accelerated, seamless cross-border payment. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Director of Account Management at MasterCard West Africa, Ms. Nneka. Please put your hands together for her, Mrs. Nneka Ume.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope we had a great meal. Unfortunately, I'm speaking after lunch, hoping that we won't lose. And I'm not so boring after all. Next, I'll be speaking. So I'm speaking on payment solutions and opportunities we have around cross-border payments in Nigeria and beyond. I'm waiting for my presentation, but while I do that, we can continue speaking. I promise not to make it boring. I'll highlight the size, also highlighting the opportunities there, services and payments and disbursements. I know Celestina has spoken to us around payments and the world around payments. The CEO of NIPS has also spoken to that. My country lead has spoken to AI and payments. And I have spoken to payments. I think most of the things we've spoken today is around payments, but I'm going to also focus on how we can unlock new money movement opportunities in Nigeria and beyond. And if you look at what you have on the screen, great not to call it transfers, because it's beyond transfers. And like I said, it has to focus on inbound and outbound to sit well in our economy and the peculiarity of the market we're in. Nigeria actually has a lot of things we're exporting in terms of agricultural products, SM frames, capacity in terms of our human resources and the rest. For me, when I hear new money movement opportunities, I like driving it back home. As simple as, let's say Mr. Nad is down here in Nigeria, he has a family in London. And suddenly the wife calls to say, oh, there's a health bill that is outstanding and it needs to be cleared. That is just bringing it home. Irrespective of part of the world he is, Lagos as he were today, he needs to find a that bill so that his family is okay. Also go for things, and we have families living abroad. And there's in Nigeria, like pay the land charge, like the commissioner spoke to us about here, and we need to bring in those money to Nigeria over time, but it hasn't been happening seamlessly. But before we go into that, permit the opportunity sizes we have when it comes to money movement in and beyond. As of 2022, there was an addressable market of 800 billion, as showcased by the World Bank report. And not only that, we also identified another $1.7 trillion for global cross-border disbursement, the mine we're sitting on, depending on how we want to approach it. So if you look at it, what MasterCard has done, not alone, collaborating with industry players, is to see how I'm eating into this pie. So, make value very relevant when it comes to remittance. So for us, like I said, more beyond outbound, inbound for us, which is very, very critical for us in Nigeria now, in view of cross-border area. We have over 180 countries available for this today. We'll have over 150 and more currencies involved, and 95% of all underbanked public has access to these services. And I want to use the word near real time, because it's a value of time and the geographical time difference when it comes to when the transaction comes. So depending on the time, some have a time lag of as low as 10 minutes, some of it, but depending on the time it happens, it is near real time. So what are we actually trying to solve? Like I mentioned, is beyond payments. We're going to focus on a great market segment without restricting others, which is around SME and more as we go ahead. So use our focus when we talk about move is person-to-person payment, where you have to address your individual need. You have cross-border remittances, inflow and outflow, depending on what the problem statement is. Then we'll have business payments, like I mentioned, looking at small to medium enterprises that have things to export, payments to do, and inflows that needs to come into the country. And of embedded business payments across everything we are doing today, especially when we are pitching open banking. I keep coming here because if we can relate with the opportunities in terms of value, we begin to our thinking cap to see how we can collaborate together to make this another pipeline for us in country. So it's beyond the agric, it's beyond other things. We also have other capacities we can build on, especially leveraging on what the fintechs and the unicorns have achieved in country. You can imagine a cross-border payment opportunity of 44 trillion. This is as at 2023, and we are projecting not only MasterCard, but FX intelligence reports that by 2027, the opportunity size will be 3 billion. How do we efficiently optimize this opportunity? The only way we can do that is to look at the experiences that has been in past growth and see how we can solve this problem without screaming MasterCard. But like I said, we've been able to identify issues around slow when it comes to remittance, inbound or outbound, the complexity that comes with it, the uncertainty, which is the risk and fraud everybody has been speaking to, especially, let's even take from the SME space. We have about 68% of the gig workers that want more fast and flexible payment. These are our Gen Z, the millennials, you know, they don't have the patience the old people like us have, because time is money. So how do they, everybody has their phone as their main source of interaction without making it restrictive. There are things that has to happen on go. So complexity around payment should be totally resolved. And of course, uncertainty around lack of transparency, cost, and all that. So we have taken a look at a solution to see, can we actually beat our chest and say, if there's transparent offering, this is how long it will take. It is simple and it's uncertain. And I'll say today, yes, we have solutions which can work depending on a lot on collaboration. This is not only about us. The industry stakeholders are involved. The ecosystem is involved. This is why we need everybody's cooperation so that we can build this new pipeline we are seeing. What are we pitching? We can assure you 8% today. We can assure you a high level of simplicity. And most importantly, that we never had when it comes to payments, inbound and outbound, leveraging on this. So we have this working for us, and it's getting to both person to business to business payments. Like I said, it's not restricted to only the FIs, the fintechs, and other ecosystems. In fact, this is also a platform to open banking everyone has been speaking to. What we'll be doing is leverage everybody's strength. The concerns around accessibility, concerns about restriction, transparency, time to receive and push, these things are all resolved, leveraging on this. And our SMEs are happy to expand and invite more investors into. So how do we want to leverage on our strengths in the market to do this? Like I said, we are in over 130 plus corridors today. We have over 150 currencies, but if we want to bring it home, we can put the basis we use in West Africa at about 60 plus currencies. It's not restricted to banking activities. It's available across all channels. They mean big bank accounts, big card, big cash locations, big mobile wallets, which actually implies that there are different types of deployment depending on what we want to do. Well, let me quickly look at the ecosystem and this works in over these locations. Like I said, there are individual businesses where you can make payment via the internet, your mobile banking app, or bank transfer interface. You can go ahead and be that the originating institution, based on the governance and framework we have put across, has set a very competent and affordable pricing. So you don't have to worry. There are major cost savings compared to what remittance or payments outside the country is paid for today. There's a robust ML across all players, including the sanction screening, either from the originating or the receiving banks, and payments are pushed through different channels to make this real. MasterCard sits in the middle. Remember I said it's beyond us. It's a collaboration across all the ecosystem and players in the market, where payments is executed, FX and treasury management is held, completeness of ML and other regulatory requirements are in place. And just to let you know that a lead for us becomes the regulatory guideline across the market, either the receiving or initiating market, then you have a preference on how you want these funds to be received. And is it through the card? Is through the account? Do you want to pick it up at the location? And business experience that comes with this across every user and customer that participates in this. Permit me to say that before this can be fully adopted, we should be adding value, which is why you see us speaking to the pains and the value proposition we are bringing to market when it comes to this. We have, like I said, over 130 corridors. There's simplicity, documentations are seamless in line with the guideline of the market, be it an initiating or receiving institution, the case may be. It can go through app, the wallet, the cash payout, and there are over 60 plus payment currencies in Africa today. There's end-to-end visibility, no fear of your money missing, because unlike other remittance solutions, we understand the need for transparency, end-to-end visibility and tracking, especially to meet our commitment on delivery time. Near real time is also a value we are bringing on the table. I remember years ago when you send money for school fees, when those of us were in school, parents will tell you they sent you money for school fees. For the next 60 days, you are looked Swift copy. You can't trace money, you don't know where it is, you don't even know if it's hanging, and some of us lost a lot of money because that has been resolved by near real time. Like I said, 50 markets are benefiting from this. A key differentiator and dependency is the time differentiating or receiving country. And time lag is as low as 15%. Then I have mentioned other value-added services, OIC, regulatory compliance, sanction screening, and other regulatory guidelines. So what benefits into the table? It permits me to sound like a broken record because based on our surveys, these are 5 points that will make this another pipeline for us. Speed, transparency, reach, affordability, and if you look at what we have on the screen, consumers is beyond P2P payments. The SMEs who are our now are also included in this wonderful proposition, and the reach is increased. Visibility in terms of everything, where you are sending it to, the cost impact of what you are doing, the rate at which you are what you are doing, the SLAs associated to your activity, and that experiences cannot be repeated. So I know some of us will have questions. What effect? How do I calculate my money? How do I create payment instructions? Remember, most of these payment apps we spoke about exist today is building on existing and improving on existing process to make sure that what's a profitable business, there's a seamless experience, and of course, you know what they are doing around FS rate option. We do have it to fix. Ours is to produce and make it flexible to align with regulatory reality, noting that it can move up or down at any point in time, and that can be accommodated here. Like I said, we can have integration done through the API. You can also have it done through the web portal, and you can also use the file processing, depending on the stage you are in your business and the one you find very amiable and to your business goal. This is actually a lineup of this where this happens today, whether it is account to account, whether you are using a mobile wallet option, whether you want to use the cash out option, or you want the funds card of the initiating, or the receiving banks. So if you look at it, it's a long list, and this was derived based on also on market survey on demands and areas people struggling to receive money from or send money depending on business need is. I think the exciting one for me is the options created. It's not restrictive. You are not tied to the account-to-account option. You have the flexibility around mobile wallets. You have the cash out option where you decide the location or the bank you want to go and pick up from. Then you can also have it on your card. Recall I had mentioned that all these are available, but some regulatory guideline and the kind of license we are carrying. In furtherance to this, I want to show you the near real-time payment account on the 15 markets I've spoken. You could see Brazil and share. We have Costa Rica, we have Ghana, we have Hong Kong, we have India, we have. It's just, and if you look up there, you can see the connect of the channel we are leveraging on to make this happen. You have a connection for Brazil. For Malaysia, you have the ACH. You have Costa Rica, the connection to Snipe. In Ghana, Gibbs is already there with us. In Hong Kong, FPS. In Indonesia, you have the domestic ATM network. In India, you have, and in you have it all there. This strongly suggests my position that the regulatory guideline is a bedrock of what we're collaboration around here. It's actually not all about us, but it's around the ecosystem and the infrastructure we're leveraging on to give benefits and value to Africa. Like I said, most problems have been addressed. It's for us to come on board to test the complexity that we have reduced to simplicity, expand and explore the reach of over 150 table, stay ahead of the pack because we know that Africa is the next big story. It's already showing in the level of unicorns we have, level of development and investors, despite what the economy and the exchange rate is saying. So I don't know if it's going to, but basically this is to put on attention. It's a new pipeline beyond is beyond what we know. This is an opportunity to drive transactions, values, remittances into the country based on what you are doing, our fintechs are doing, our FIs are, and of course the new focus on the government, how we can drive FX into the country. Thank you so much. I hope I've not bored you, and have a good.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Eka, for that insightful session. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please let's put our hands together for Mrs. Neka, Director of Account Management at MasterCard West Africa. She did say Africa is a new frontier, and we're doing a lot when it comes to pushing innovation and redefining payment. Thank you once again, Mrs. Mayor, for insightful session. Our next presentation on digital payment trends 2022-2027 will be a future. This topic will be presented representative of Mrs. Bolale Eniboko. She will be ably represented by Mr. William Uko, Head of Strategy and Research at the Nigerian Interbank Settlement Systems, NIBS PLC, represented Ms. Bolale Eniboko, is an experienced manager with hands-on skills in strategy crafting and business information. Please give a warm welcome, Mr. Uko.
Excuse me. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I am deeply honored to take this presentation on behalf of our company and IBSS PLC. You would recall my CEO was here earlier in the day, and he essentially spoke to, in a way, to this talk, and I think the organizers, by assigning us a presentation in this second session, our understanding was they wanted to do maybe a little more of a deep dive to stir up the conversation along these lines, and that will do the justice to this over the next 10 minutes. All right, we're not going to assume that everybody knows who we are. And it's a global audience here, so we'll talk that. We'll talk about the global landscape. A lot has been said about most of this morning, so we don't dwell too much on that. Essentially, what we are looking at, or what I'm hoping to leave as a charge by the time we're done with this, centers around the last three items here. Listening to the vision of this program, Mr. Adeyemi, it's clear that he wants us to leave this place thinking about the future. But we all know the ability to read today properly, us position for the future. Now, before I talk about this, I'm sure most of us seated here, part of what I'm going to describe was the retail wave in the banking industry over the last, let's say, 2005 up until pre-COVID. Like I say, hindsight is 2020, so I'm not claiming that we all knew that this was how it's going to end. But the important thing is we can learn from that and use to inspire the next level of thinking, and that's what we want to achieve. Now, I'll be speaking a lot from the standpoint of what we do, which is taking interoperability and action. You see, that's our core mandate in needs. And over time we found that yeah, we've been misunderstood sometimes, and I'm not saying we've been perfect in everything, core mandate. And this is what we are out to do. Now, there have been instances where, in a bid to show the industry that this can be done, we found ourselves, reaching into actually doing some things. Come out and say, hey, this can actually be done. But we have, as continually, particularly over the last maybe 1 year, emphasized this message. This is a core, and we are out there to ensure that there's interoperability. Now, let's just this. The key takeaway from this slide is that we're not claiming credit for it here. Most of the things here were done through collaboration. In most instances, we led the process, but the actual came through collaboration with stakeholders. Most of you sit here. Now we are at the cusp of time, and the organizers are challenging us in the next 5 years. Take a look at what we've gone through as a country. To be honest with you, looking at this, not a NIF scorecard, it's a Nigeria scorecard. From purely a paper-based issue, things began to change. I said on defense fairs. On our part, a national central switch was launched, and NIF was laid the central switch. Then things began to move in a different direction, which we now call digital. Now, if as a country we are all of these, all three, what's to say we can do much more in the next 5 years? And that's the thing we want to challenge and galvanize the ecosystem to think about. over the next 2 days. Now, like I said earlier, our focus, our core functions, instant payments, we are custodians, we're entrusted, let me use that word. We are entrusted by the country with the BVN details, like ID. We handle bulk payment solutions, diverse terminal aggregators, the newly launched domestic cards. Let's go forward. Now, from where we sit, which is what's going to influence most of what I'm talking about in the next 5-7 minutes, we have the benefit of seeing lots of transaction data. And as a responsible organization, we're careful. Some things are sensitive, some things are good for business analytics. However, at every opportunity we have, we try to position the statistics in a way that you can make informed decisions from them. And if you look at it, of course, our mandate is 99% uptime. Given the limitations of our infrastructure in the country, it's a tough call, but we made up our minds to stick with it, whatever it takes. And whatever there are glitches, we admit them. However, the whole idea, for us, it's, people look at things differently. I think it was we're wearing slippers. One man said, oh dear, what a poor country. Another man said, an opportunity to supply slippers. It was a matter of perspective. In our own case, it's data. And what we do is put forward the best way we can on our website in different fora. And then people need to sit back and look and say, what can I make out of this? Let's move on. Now, I don't want to dwell too much on this because I won't say we'll waste my time. But the key takeaway from this is that the post-COVID, the digital payment landscape has rebounded. And a lot is happening, and that momentum is going to continue in the next 3, 4, 5 years. It's undoubtable. However, Africa as well, I mean, the statistics speak for themselves. Nigeria, Kenya, and I think South Africa, are more like the leading countries in this conversation. But the entire continent still remains a gold mine to any discerning investor. So we're in the right place. Our own country, unique statistics. But I'll talk more on this in subsequent slides. But keep in mind, it's interesting what people say about us. They still come back to Nigeria to do business. So I always smile when you can say whatever you want to say. Even though some of our most artists still come to do business here. So there's something that we stand for. Now let's move on. What have we seen over the last, let's say, 2022 to 2024? Now, one thing I want to keep at the back of our minds in this conversation today is there's the word convergence. If you look through all the presentations since the early morning day, that word has come up repeatedly in one way or the other. I like what my dear friend Neka said. She said, I'm not using the word instant payments because certain words can put us in a paradigm in them. It's through all presentations, and I'm sure most of you have noticed. It's not just talking about payments. It's about different categories of people converging on a system for mutual benefit. One thing we've noticed last year is collaboration with fiscal authorities, even in Nigeria. Conversations around TSA, and if you were here in the morning, it was interesting. A cross-section of the crowd had, different government agencies, talk financial services, traditional. Now, if you call a seminar like this, you find out that everybody, you have NIPSI, you have even the security agencies are talking about how can leverage your ecosystem to do a better job. So there's convergence, and that's it's brewing. And for those who are thinking of the future, I will urge you to keep that at the back of your mind when you're designing your solutions. We've seen massive growth of fintech has been talked about, central bank digital currencies. It hasn't scaled as much as we would have wanted in Nigeria, but it is scaling across the world, and it will scale eventually. Buy now, pay later, innovative e-payments. Now mention to this issue of cross-border connectivity. Throughout 2023, most of our research work, we find out that cross-border connectivity issue has come up repeatedly. Now, I want to talk quickly about a few challenges we've mentioned. Now, I'm not going to skip through these challenges because we don't want to dwell on them. We all know they exist. Internet accessibility. However, what about the opportunities? I call this the picture. Okay. If you ask at the heart of the government, particularly the current government, at the heart of it, this is a game. A digital payment ecosystem that works. But it caters for government, it caters for payments, people to a person to government, a business to government, persons to persons, persons to businesses. This is the big picture that the authorities are working towards. And we as, in this room, as innovators and members of the ecosystem, should keep this in mind. This is the end game. Most of the policies that we'll see come out in the next few years are driven by a desire to see this in our country. Now, this is a slide I would like us to pay particular attention to, because innovation doesn't just come for the sake of it. Innovation is driven by something. Remember, that conversation about retail started, hush-hush, 2004, 2005. Then the conversation moved into bottom of the pyramid. Then it moved into financial inclusion. Remember the time when it was all about building banks, branches were expanding, banks were building. And sometime in 2008, the conversation tilted to channels. Then from channels, CBN came up with a game-changing framework that gave us options of new channels to build. So the conversation began to move away from branches. That's the evolution as a country. But it started off from consumer side. What were the consumers asking for? Somehow, intuitively, after 2005, there were no banks in the neighborhoods. All the banks were on the high street. By 2006, somehow, banks began to consider putting branches in neighborhoods, rural area. It was never the case. How did they pick up on it? It was a movement. I used to just began to speak on it, and somehow banks picked it up. People responded at different levels, but that's what we are today. We now had retail branches, and the retail conversation progressed until today we have Frontier. I only have a minute left, but take a look at this slide. Nigeria has a median 17.2. That means population is below 17 years. The other half is above 17 years. That's something. It's that we have a lot of young people, and my colleagues have already alluded. The real solution for those thinking of the future is to pay attention to the complaints, the pain points. It is the pain points that drive. If you can pick up on the pain points of the day, you will be waiting for the next level of your life, even though it's not my last. We call it a word on the street perspective. Yes, we feel the pulse. It's when you feel the pulse, and I'm challenging us, including our company as well. These are the complaints on the streets. You can put them in fancy language, but this is the heart of it. People are asking for simplicity. They're asking for payments that don't disrupt their lives, for freedom, don't force me to do traditional way. They're asking for value. How do I do my goals? Most most consumers we deal with today are asking for, why must I open this account, pay through this one, go through this one? Why can't I do it in one? Now, to them, they've made a problem statement. For us, it's it's a warning sign to what the opportunity is. Most of them are, some people are talking, how won't I lose my money in the bank? All that is going on. Some the concierge appetite has grown in our country, particularly since COVID. And then there's something interesting I want us to pay attention to. I'm careful about throwing our own ideas at the problem. There is a culture in Nigeria. People would rather do a job than want to go and take a loan in the bank. But if you go out of unlikely that you will find, the average Caucasian will say, you mean I will give you money, we'll put our money together, then what if you run away and I can't find? But it somehow intuitively in us, we go that way. That's another thing. So, in essence, in wrapping up, what we're just trying to say is these are the things that we want to, as our own contribution to this conversation, take things through the pain points. Hurry to criticize the complaints, in quotes, but to see the opportunities. Because honestly speaking, these are the themes that would most like innovation in the future. I'm out of time, I think we need to stop here. But thank you.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please let's put our hands together for Mr. William Uko for that comprehensive presentation. You spoke to, you made a very poignant point about listening to you. Young people and not just assuming this is the solution. To the problems, our session on millennials and Gen Z pay. Belongs to this demography, and I can tell you for free that the number one pain point of young people in Nigeria is that there's no money on ground. So if you can and help us, and also
disappointment, they couldn't even. We don't have one panel. One panel, it was only one person that came. So because I recall already.
So having him deliberate about the speaker is a professor at the University of Lagos. He is the founder and director of the first Center for Digital Humanities in Nigeria and Africa. He will be discussing understanding today's netizens in the evolving digital sphere of digital cultures for digital entrepreneurs. I believe those are your students there. Extra marks for you.
Thank you very much. Great advocates, are you there? Great advocates. Greatest of the greatest of the great Hawkeyes. Thank you for coming here. I appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a wonderful day. I want to thank you all for inviting me to be part of this. I must also thank my dear brother and friend, actually, Yinka and I, who were class at school several years ago. Instead of solid minerals, Dr. Alaki, the father, was our principal. That year. So it's always to be together once again. Thank you all, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, for inviting our center to be part of this. Yinka Adeyemi is a member of our board and then been doing quite a lot to support us. Our center leads a revolution in use and application of digital technologies in disciplines side, outside parts. While he was concluding his remarks, shown the investments that the defense industry, the players, to actually empower. I think you mean to come. So MC. So in the right direction. We are moving in the right direction, and I think that is the way we go. So briefly, if I need to talk about the millennial and then the Gen Z, the last speaker briefly, but let me quickly give us a brief description of the Gen Z, who they are. We have about 22% of the global population and 27% of the global workforce. They are predicted to work in about 18 jobs across 6 careers, and they live in 50 homes in their life. So they are very mobile, and because they are mobile, so just as the last speaker, think about what they need, and then how we can actually provide the solution and meet their need. So they are shaped by the internet. They understand the world through the upbringing and internet-connected society. They enter the workforce with a blend of they are the first to ride the internet wave since their birth. They are influenced by the unique fingerprint of the internet age. They left and engaged in economics, fashion, and politics. They are shaped by fashion movements. So you need, for this industry, you need this. Number one, as your workforce. Number two, as the possible consumers of your product. Very quickly, I just want to run through this. So when we talk about digital quarters, we are simply talking about, how that will influence the entrepreneurship in digital age. It has to catalyze innovation, facilitate connectivity, reshape traditional business models. By defining digital culture, we are talking about the totality of what they do online, okay? And how they engage. We all agree that they are there. In fact, that's why we call them netizens. They are the citizens of the internet, 24/7. They are there. And therefore, we must tailor our products needs. We target them. We need to empower them. How they can also develop the skills for them to get involved in what we are doing. Okay. Basically, you are all experts in digital fintech industry. So I don't need to give you definition, but just for the sake of just getting to know. Okay, digital entrepreneurship is the traditional entrepreneurial in helping you to drive your innovation, helping you to be able to achieve and accomplish your goal. The man from C was telling about how do we give about jackpot syndrome? How can we give them? These are solutions. These are things we must think about. Companies is very important. Okay, when we talk about entrepreneurship, we are pursuing and looking at opportunities that are available there for you. Where is the main point between and them? Okay? We have been involved in working with them, so working with young people, and then actually in the last few years we have been looking at organizing programs to empower them, to give them to skills. Only those of them that are outside the core STEM disciplines, so that we can enlarge the demographics, we can enlarge the base for your businesses. So it's a response to the changing this landscape, necessitating continuous adaptability and agility for business sustainability in our age. We must think about that. As the digital landscape continues to evolve, embracing the principles and parts of culture, it is imperative for us. We want to develop more of business opportunities. We must think about how this can be part of your solution. Since the COVID time, we now live in a new world of people now work from home. Somebody was mentioning here that somebody in your company is actually working for other companies. So we must see, how do we address that? How do we take advantage of resilience? How do we take advantage of that to actually help our company to grow? So consider that, because these people, you can't keep them, sitting down for a long time. You can't keep them just, we must understand how we provide opportunity for them in our industry, so that they can deploy these skills that they have to help us in building and improving. Now, how do we understand their choices? Look at their demography. They use that. They look at their age, their background, their education. While younger generations such as millennials are considered digital natives, older demographics are also increasingly understanding the demographic profile of digital users can help your businesses, can help you to shape your strategy. That's what they want, their preference, all the things that they, how you take advantage of that. Understand them so that you can improve. Now they are there. They prefer, they're there. They use the content they need. Business experience. I'm happy that many of the experts here today, they've been talking so much. Nobody wants to waste his time or time in going through complex systems. No. Simplify your process, simplify your products, and then you have them, because they don't have the time to waste. They prefer, see on. So you must understand that. So they have that personalized experience. So you develop your product to actually address their needs. If you need to improve our product and then our profitability, because you are all in this industry to make, so you must think about that. Now, but they are more centric behavior, and then they're browsing the internet. They use applications. They get involved in mobile shopping, mobile payment. We talk about all this. So and tailor your product to meet their needs. Because they have social media influence. You can actually use them as social media influencers to drive your product. So that's into that, and then you are going to find them very, very useful. So they prefer your content. You want to get them, give them very good books, something that can actually connect with. The next one, they want instant gratification. They're not just there to just patronize your. What can you give them when they patronize your products? These are things we must think about when we developing a product and deploying solutions to the people outside there. especially the young people. Now, to open up a plethora of opportunity for scaling businesses and addressing diverse talent pools. This will cut obliterate geographical barriers, platform, and these communication tools. Entrepreneurs can actually reach commerce supplies and collaborate from across the globe. So, the power of digital presence for 21st century netizen. Global reach, okay, visibility, marketing and engagement, networking, convenience, and analytics and insight. They can analyze trends. These are things time when you are developing your product, and then at the benefits, they are young entrepreneurs. Okay, they help you to do your data-driven thinking. They're agile and responsive. Okay, and they can give you a competitive edge. And then, of course, improve efficiency and productivity, enhance customer experience, and then, of course, you have access to global market, and then that also helps in saving costs. They also help in community building when you're able to make use of them. So what these are, as we go through all this and know that we are developing solutions, we are developing that can actually reshape the market and improve the way things are done. I have just a few more minutes. So they can help us to do data-driven decision making. And then by harnessing power of data, people have said here there that the language is there. Okay, so you must understand young entrepreneurs and help to make informed decisions, optimize their strategy, and stay ahead of the competition. So you need them. Emerging technology like artificial intelligence and machine learning empower entrepreneurs to automate processes, personalize experiences, and create predictive models. What I think, because it helps with agile adaptation, and then it's empowerment and inclusivity when we deploy these digital tools for entrepreneurship initiatives. And it helps to make bigger impact. Digital economy. People, when we are developing a product, make use of them, and I'm sure that you will be able to take your industry, your product to the next. In this program. Thank you very much.
Let's put our hands together for Professor Davis for that aging keynote. You can see there between Professor Davis and Ms. Adeyemi. This spans several decades, as I said. They were schoolboys so many years ago. Following this keynote, we'll have a panel session themed "The Future of Payment," and would wait for the organizers to set up, because the chairs seem to be in a long-distance relationship, panelists to be in a long-distance relationship. So in a couple of minutes or so, just to give you an idea of what this panel session will be about. It's the future of payment, and we have a star-set lineup of panelists. Oladeko Laosholari is the Associate Vice President and Merchant, and Karen at OPay Digital Services Limited will be a part of. We also have Justin Yang, a Sales Executive at Uro. We have Obi Ahmed Taram, CEO and co-founder of Zone. We have and retail bank Wema Bank Gilster Abidemi Demola.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm particularly excited. I'm also taking this session, even though my time is fast. But I'm still this. All right. We know why we're here, and particularly this time, what we want to do. I appreciate the talk from the professor. It was quite exciting and an insight into what we should do. And I think also the numbers that NIBS also shares is also something that is truly food for thought. On this note, I would like to invite on stage agencies, and we want to hear from them. We've actually waiting for the session. So first, I'll be inviting Mayowa Olutuyo. He's a product marketing manager to go on AI. Please let's welcome her. Next, I'd like to invite Timmy Joel. He's a growth associate, Carry-wise. Middle. Okay. Also joining this is Larry Michael. He's the head of Cash Term. Joining the panel too, Wilson Noeta, and is the founder and CEO of WiltCon. Okay. I also have Adiola Osho. He's a middleman. And finally, I have Foluwa Okedare, Director. You're welcome. Let's do it this way. No, it's all hard. Let me just. I guess we're good. Okay, so thank you and welcome. The audience, they really would, and they really would want to know what the future of payments is. What do you think about vision and where we are and where we want to be? So I'll start on this note. Brief. on what your future of payments will be. Thank you.
Hey, welcome everybody. My name is Anusia. The future of payments, it's really exciting because the generation that we are, generation that prioritizes experiences over functions. Explain that. Okay, I'll explain that. I mean, beyond the vanilla function of payment, which is I want to buy something, I'm going to pay for it. We look for further connections because the brand resonate with my lifestyle, especially because I represent the generation of digital natives. What I mean by that is the generation that was born to that inclusion of digital already. So innovation has gotten to a point before era, so we came with the very expectations and looking for not just to pay for those things, but now to resonate with the brand, and that's what I'm going to say. And that is now collaborating payment to my day-to-day lifestyle. So now I want payment to be inculcated in e-commerce, and I know it does already, but now you even see Gen Z companies that are focused on Gen Z needs and more around as a primary purpose for whatever communities are, but inculcating payment into it. We just want ease, to be honest. And when these people just come with, say, lifestyle, for example, I know travels for dentists and payments in my budget, and I pay, and I'm happy. So the future of payment for me is ease, accessibility, and some very interesting innovative technology that I see glimpses of, and can't wait for Africa to be a part of that inclusion. So that's how we feel.
All right, Sarah. And so it's ease. I think I took that. Ease is, and I know it's talked a lot around lifestyle. The lifestyle is also important. So for anybody developing products, this, I think speakers actually also emphasize on that. Maybe Timmy could also share with me what do you think your payments will be.
Yeah, thank you. Mayowa said quite, and most importantly is right. And I like that you mentioned that beyond the functionality, right? Gen Zs or younger adults will take into consideration ease of usage of this feature of this infrastructures, right? I also wanted to mention that speed is also very important, right? As Gen Zs, nobody has time to waste. I do not want to send money from one bank to another bank and then have to spend another 10 minutes, 15 minutes, right? I want to this where as soon as I tap send to Mayowa is getting money almost immediately, right? I do not have to book an Uber, then have to wait for extra 5 minutes in Uber before the guy or the rider confirms my right. I don't want to be in a restaurant another 15 minutes before the attendant confirms my order, right? As much as it is also very important. And freedom of payment is also be influenced. Will also be we should also look at it's easy for me to adopt some payment mechanisms because a friend like Noah Larry told me about this mobile app, about this feature, about this bank something, right? That's the ease of discoverability. Let me to what's it called, get information about a feature from a bank or something, or a mobile app, or a fintech app company, right? And we are not as rich as Professor Tunde or Mr. Williams has spoke earlier. We also very much care about security of our money. Whether it's 2002K, we are very careful about rights, and that's why you see people on Twitter when so many people are complaining about the fact that the banking app is not working, it's not opening. You see people brush up under the comment section. I hope say my 2K still this for our bank, that kind of thing, right? So, yeah, security is that my one mention. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Timmy. Please don't allow their audience to disappear. It's very serious. So Timmy is saying security is key, and of course speed is extremely important. So whatever solution you up with, that should be serious. So I also like to ask Larry to what your take is on payments. Oh, sorry. Let me take Wilson.
Hello. My take on future payment. Now, my colleagues, they spoke about the Gen Z personal problems they have with each platform in terms of payment, but what future payment would mean more modern day technology integration platforms. And when I say modern day technology, I mean things like Web3, tokens, crypto, and even AI, right? We're speaking about security of funds no matter the amount, and I believe that the payment should hold a more automated security and being able to detect fraud instantly. With the amount of security that we have now, we still have a massive amount of loss from fraud and insider manipulation or whatsoever, right? And to combat this the best we can, it's a system that is not corrupt. And the best way we can do that is removing human error, integrate more AI into these platforms. Of course, like they said, we also need to make these transfers as swift as possible. And the best way we can do that is by we can tokenize a lot of currencies to make things a little bit more simpler, educate a lot more people about the usage of the new technology. So that's what I believe the future of payment will be.
Thank you. Thank you, Wilson. So Wilson and security. It's about how we can use AI to improve security too. And of course, organization. So let's be honest. I know it's been introduced, but definitely it could be better. And, it's what we should all put our heads together to how can we really do it better so that it's more secured and it also gives our regulators more comfort. Thank you. So let's go back to Larry again. What are your thoughts?
Right, thank you. I'm going to say from the aspect of cross-border, there have been a lot of restrictions when it comes to that. And as we all know, millennials and Gen Z right now, we are digital natives, right? For seamless transactions, technology integrations, but there's still a bit of restrictions when it comes to making cross-border payments. Right, so if we are going to get into the future, I believe that the fintech sector, the fintech industry, the banking sector, help integrate all of those solutions easily. I know there are existing solutions, right? In cross-border payment right now, there's still a lot of gap in that field.
All right, thanks, Larry. Cross-border payments. I'm happy when Nika was here. She did mention it. Cross-border payment is extremely important because all is global. We know global payments are happening. And the earlier we saw the issues that we have on cross-border payments, the better. And that's why the industry is here. Thanks, Larry. I think I should now hear from, Adila. Yes.
Hello. Okay, good. So I'm going to quickly the point that my wife made earlier when he talked about experiences. I'm going to tell a story of how I've, in the last 1 year, let's say about 6 months, switched between my favorite, the favorites of both banks that I use.
Sure.
Mention names. Okay. That would be tough about try. So I have to one.
A and B.
The bank is orange as an orange brand. And bank B is red. I mean, there are lots of reds. So earlier, so I'm going to the importance of experiences, right? So 12 months ago, bank B whenever you want to like make a transfer, you want to say, when you put in the account, when they say the name of the bank, the search bar is added, so you can just type it in. But bank A, you have to scroll down to the bottom before you search the search bar, right? And because of that, I was used bank B. I never used bank A. In fact, the money enters my bank A, I move it to bank B immediately. I don't want to scroll every time I want to pay for something, right? And then the story changed about a couple of months ago when Bank launched a new version of the app, and it was just, I mean, I wanted to, and I thought I could use my Face ID to log in. So type my password anymore. Wow, amazing. So I just pick up my phone, and the app works. Right, that experience. So interestingly, Bank B also launched that, such that I could also log into the same app, Face ID. The crazy thing, the difference now at this point, so then Bank A improved the whole searching flow. Now, the difference between Bank A and Bank B is when after putting in the all details and you want to finally send the money, Bank A allows me to also approve my Face ID. Bank B still requires me to type password, and I'm Bank A. If any money enters my Bank B now, I move Bank A immediately because of that. I think it's sometimes, it's easy to underestimate experiences in digital products, and it's something I don't want us to really talk about, so that our yeah, it's right. That tech seems to do better.
I'm sure the feedback is taken. I don't want to say much, but however, very clear. User experience, UI, UX, it really matters a lot in whatever we're developing. And sometimes we just assume that this is what we would like just because we are in there. Of course, it's good to do market research and to actually the users you are doing your development. But I think that was a very important point that you put on table. Thank you so much for that. Right, Sophie, what's your take? Let me say it in you.
Oh, that's all. Okay. For me, I'll come in from the sort of controls in all the new technologies that is making life to be seamless for all users. So as new products, these new services come on board, the same way the vulnerabilities that can come with these new apps, these new patches that is put in place, the same way there could be vulnerabilities which to ensure that that constant experience continues. The banks and other stakeholders need to manually overhaul whatever IT controls they are put in place on a periodic basis to ensure that the confidentiality, integrity, as well as availability of their platforms are assured for all these users that use their platforms. That fantastic user experience. So, as that new app is coming on board, from the back end are those controls that are keeping the app confidential, are they operating effectively, and are they making the users happy in the long run? That's the point of view I will look at it from.
Thank you so much. You've gone the risks angle, so I think that's also equally important in all of the products we're coming up with. Risk is something new. Thank you so much for your input. So let me ask Larry, if you're ready. I wonder, how do millennials and make their purchasing decisions?
So when it comes to making purchasing decisions, there are a lot of factors contribute to that, and the consumer behavior. When it comes to product marketing, we used to say that it's good when you talk to users so that you understand what they want and not just be the product that they don't actually want, right? So the ability for you to understand consumer behaviors, and what are those things that drives consumer behaviors? Is either social media interactions, is either recommendations, you want to buy something and you talk to someone on the phone, or you just type on WhatsApp or Instagram, right? The algorithm pick that up and start recommending films for you, right? And at the end of the day, different ads start coming up. You really need that product. You really need. If, for instance, the merchant have a payment solution already, or you can easily get products faster. You can just go ahead, order for it, and deliver to you faster, right? So when it comes to consumer behavior for disease, we're looking for how seamless can it be, how fast can this thing, how cheap can I, in terms of trust, secure, person he wants to make payment online. Oh, this website is secured by Paystack, right? You are free to those, you need secured, right? So security, recommendations, and also social media interactions can actually influence that decisions.
All right, thank you. Security, what happens, the social media interactions, the AI is built on trying consumer behavior, encouraging you to do more. Those basically some of the things you've identified that what influences purchases. So 14 has some potential ethical considerations surrounding the use of payment data and personal information for marketing purposes among millennials and youth.
Okay, thank you. Interesting. I work very closely with marketing team at Cowrywise, and we take into consideration some of these laws and data protection and protection policies, right? But one of the very major is seeking consent. As businesses, as banking bodies, as firms, we shouldn't just assume that because person is a customer, then automatically he wants to receive market transfer firms or from a company, right? That's not entirely true. Sometimes I just want to use your product because I enjoy your product, right? I enjoy your firm, I enjoy your business, I enjoy offering, right? I am not, sometimes I'm probably not interested in marketing activities, which is fine. And that's why for us at Cowrywise, we have this case where we have allow you unsubscribe whenever we send marketing communications to you, and then if you're no longer receiving marketing communications at your own will, you can click on the subscribe button and you would not get any marketing communications anymore. And this is super important. I receive marketing communications without this feature. I mean, I do not want this. I send it to me. Give me this functionality to subscribe, right? It begins to look at getting spammed of these communications, right? Another thing that we do, another thing that I think business should take into consideration is ensuring that they are adequately adhering to local data policies, or local, like the NPDR, right? And they also, on a periodic basis, they audit every of these things. For instance, at the moment, is on a quarterly basis, it's our we audit our processes around data management, right? How we manage customer account balances, their names, emails, their customer profiling, and all of those things, right? And this is over the years I've been taken seriously. Maybe because we do not have a regulation we do not have a regulation that sits upright on that, ensure that there is some sort of penalty to companies that default in this regard. And I believe that as we grow as a country, as an ecosystem, our policies will begin to come into play, and defaulters will be found wanting. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you much. But I'll tell you that as we are not taking it easy with us again. It's not the way it used to be before. And data protection is key. It takes that likely they are responsible in a lot of FIs that are responsible, and that ensures that we comply with data protection. So I agree with you that data is one of the key things that should be looked at. So maybe moving on, let me ask you, from your point of view, what is the risk assessment and cybersecurity reviews on what various Warriors Financial Actions. What are your views?
Thank you very much. For risk assessments and cybersecurity reviews, take a look at it this way. Each of those financial applications, as well as mobile app, they sit on an IT infrastructure that is resident within a banking environment. A bank, whether it's a fintech or it sits within that end-to-end IT infrastructure. And as one of the major masters, we assist organizations in carrying out vulnerability assessments and penetration testing. These are the simple technologies that hackers, script kiddies, use to brute force into a network, and they can use to, one, gather information which we know concerns that are on the internet or on the physical end of that particular infrastructure, and are able to use those information that are gathered to be able to launch an attack into that IT environment, whether it's a database or an application where that your mobile app where it sits. So one of the major evidences that you can know that there's a high risk environment for an application is one, downtimes, where for example you want to log in that mobile app, you can't log in, and you know that your passwords are correct. Another is that there are for example social media trends on an app being down or money not transactions not successful. So those are a few that can encourage both the staff of the bank as well as external stakeholders such as the financial authority, which is CBN, to ensure that these regular reviews, whether they are VAPTs, IT audits, or even cybersecurity resilience, are done on a periodic basis to ensure that the confidence, integrity, and availability of that environment where the application sits is there is adequate assurance. I, as a millennial or Gen Z, can be sure that, oh, my money is there and my money is not lost, or forcing my my profile or hijacking my profile and sending money to my account without my consent. So VAPT, IT audit, and cybersecurity resilience reviews helps to get
Security in particular, and all of the measures should be put in place. And that's quite comforting. Nowadays, we just assume that, oh, maybe apps that are developed by Gen Zs or millennials that will probably be a bit loose and not be concerned about some security features. It's clear
60K every month. And I'm like, okay, I can save 500,000 and I can give money to add to the 1 million and parents. Or buy iPhone 11 and it's expensive. But for some reason, these people just craft plans that makes me want to save because they sort of structure around it. And let's go to investment. Look at what RiceVest is also doing in that area. In and carry West too. In past years, investments in me, the concept of mutual funds, it was far from it to my door. And I don't get your holistic idea yet. Then I see technology that is crafting it in the way that I understand it. And it appeals to me to want to buy anything that payment has done and financial service has done. And let's not forget what of Pampe I'll mention. Let them get their flowers. Pampe and Obe has done of decentralized payment where a woman that is in the market will tell you that send that money to my Pampe account. And shockingly, she might have a national bank account too, but for some reason, these banks have sent a wave of one known for whatever known for whatever they've done as to that trust. You now need to check how they done this. Is ease that I mentioned earlier. Transfer. And for some reason, trust it. And 3 major points for me really. We've banked a large chunk of those unbanked that has been in past times. Making investment and savings relate to my generation because it was a problem in the past. We thought it was for the rich people, but now we can do it with our 2K. Lastly, how these banks are powering some interesting smaller technologies that is just now appealing to the everyday people. Electronic transfers, that would be the interesting.
Thank you so much. That was fantastic. And that's truly what has happened in the payment space over the years. It's a commercial bank, whether it's a fintech, microfinance, or generally the people in the instance in the payment system. I think we need to ourselves as Nigerians for making that leap and that growth in the payment world. So I think it's a good one. It's a win-win situation. Thank you for that. Okay, so I'll just try to find out again. And from you, how would you envision the future technology evolving to better meet the needs of millennials? Now, this is like, what's more, really?
One more we can do. Yeah. Well, the most important thing is to interact with the people who are going to use your product, right? We've the point of our product or technology, there's still a lot more